Join the Thinking in English Conversation Club right now. For just $2 a week, you can join with other English learners, practice speaking, have conversations, enjoy yourself, and use new vocabulary. We run conversation clubs every Tuesday and Thursday at 12 p.m, 6 p.m, and 9 p.m. UK time. So there's no excuse. You can join, and you should join right now. Join the Thinking in English Conversation Club, link in the description. Hello, I'm Tom Wilkinson, and welcome to the Thinking in English podcast, a podcast for intermediate to advanced level English learners. What is the most famous political assassination in modern history? Let's take a look at 5 infamous assassinations, the leaders who were sadly killed, and the lasting legacies of these traumatic events. You can find the full transcript of today's episode over on the Thinking in English blog. The link is in the description. Leave a 5-star rating on Spotify or Apple. Check out my Instagram page and YouTube channel, both called Thinking in English. And here is today's vocabulary list. To assassinate. To assassinate. To kill someone famous or important. For example, they stopped a plot to assassinate the president. High profile. High profile. Attracting a lot of attention and interest from the public and newspapers, television, etc. For instance, he resigned from a high-profile job as economic advisor to the president. Speculation. Speculation. The activity of guessing possible answers to a question without having enough information to be certain. For example, speculation about his future plans is rife. Mourning. Mourning. Great sadness felt because someone has died. For example, shops were closed as a sign of mourning for the king. Exile. Exile. The condition of someone being sent or kept away from their own country, village, especially for political reasons. For instance, the deposed leaders are currently in exile in the neighbouring country. Cover-up. Cover-up. An attempt to prevent the public from discovering information about a serious crime or mistake. As in, allegations of a cover-up of the effects of pollution have been strongly denied. To depose. To depose. To remove someone important from a powerful position. For example, King Charles I was deposed from the English throne in 1646. Assailant. Assailant. A person who attacks another person. For instance, can you describe your assailant? Last July, as I was drinking my morning coffee in my favourite cafe in Tokyo, the news broke that former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe had been assassinated while attending an event in the city of Nara. We sat and watched in shock as Japanese television news reported on the events. While Japan had experienced assassinations in its history, such a public attack on one of the most influential Japanese leaders ever stunned the country. Then, a few weeks ago, a smoke bomb was thrown at current Japanese Prime Minister Kishida as he was campaigning for local elections. While not a real assassination attempt, the event once again reminded everyone that political assassinations are always a possibility. Throughout history, there have been numerous high-profile political assassinations that have captured the world's attentions. These events have been marked by controversy, mystery, and conspiracy theories, and have left lasting legacies in their wake. In this episode of Thinking in English, I will explore 5 famous political assassinations, each from a different country. I'll look into the background of each assassination, discuss the political climate at the time and the events leading up to the targeted killing, and I'll also explore the impact of these assassinations on their respective countries and the world. The aim of this podcast is not only to provide an informative and interesting discussion, but also to introduce new topics, ideas, and vocabulary to all of you listening. A political assassination can be defined as the targeted killing of a political figure or leader, often for political or ideological reasons. The aim of a political assassination is to eliminate or remove a particular individual from a position of power or influence, or to send a message to a particular group. Political assassinations have been carried out throughout history and can occur in various forms, including shootings, bombings, or poisonings. Assassinations can be carried out by individuals, groups, and even governments, and can be motivated by a range of factors, including political reasons, ideological, religious, or personal beliefs. One of the most well-known examples of a political assassination in history is the killing of Julius Caesar in ancient Rome. Caesar, who was a powerful political and military leader, was assassinated by a group of senators who were opposed to his growing power and influence. In more recent times, political assassinations have been used as a tool by various groups and individuals to achieve their goals or to send a message to others. For example, the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. in 1968 was carried out by a white supremacist who opposed King's civil rights activism and non-violent protests. Political assassinations have a significant impact not only on the individual or group targeted, but also on wider society and the politics of a country. They can lead to instability, violence, and fear, and can have a lasting impact on the political landscape. In some cases, they can also lead to the strengthening of the resolve and determination of the targeted people. So, here are 5 famous assassinations from around the world. John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, was assassinated on November 22, 1963, in Dallas, Texas. The assassination was a tragic event that shocked the world and has continued to captivate public interest and debate over the decades. At the time of his assassination, Kennedy was a popular president who had inspired many with his vision for America. He was known for his charismatic personality and his progressive policies, including his efforts to promote civil rights and social justice. The assassination of JFK has been the subject of much speculation and controversy, with many theories surrounding the circumstances and motivations behind the killing. The official investigation by the Warren Commission concluded that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone in the shooting, but many people today continue to doubt this conclusion and believe that there may have been other individuals or groups involved in the assassination. The impact of Kennedy's death on the United States was significant. It was a traumatic event that shook the nation and led to a period of mourning and reflection. Kennedy's legacy as a progressive leader was cemented by his death, and his vision for a new frontier for America inspired a new generation of leaders to continue his work. The assassination also had significant implications for US politics and international relations. The events of November 22nd led to a sense of uncertainty and instability in the country, and raised questions about the role of government and the possibility of cover-ups. It also had implications for US foreign policy, as Kennedy's successor, Lyndon B. Johnson, continued and escalated US involvement in the Vietnam War. Benazir Bhutto. Benazir Bhutto was the first female Prime Minister of Pakistan and one of the most prominent political figures in the country's history. She came from a wealthy and politically influential family and was educated at prestigious universities in both Pakistan and abroad. Bhutto first became Prime Minister in 1988 and served 2 non-consecutive terms in office. Bhutto's assassination on December 27, 2007 was a shocking event that deeply affected Pakistan and the world. She was assassinated while leaving a political rally and just 2 months after she returned to Pakistan from self-imposed exile. The political climate in Pakistan at the time of Bhutto's assassination was volatile, with increasing violence and instability. Her return to Pakistan had been marked by bomb attacks on her convoy, and she had received numerous death threats. Bhutto had been a vocal critic of the military government led by General Pervez Musharraf, and had been calling for greater democracy and civilian control. The investigation into Bhutto's assassination was complicated and controversial. There were allegations of government involvement and cover-ups, as well as questions about the role of extremist groups. The United Nations investigated the assassination as well, and concluded that Bhutto's security had been inadequate and that there had been a deliberate and targeted killing. Bhutto's assassination had a significant impact on Pakistani politics. It led to a period of political instability and violence, and raised questions about the country's ability to hold free and fair elections. Her Pakistan People's Party went on to win the 2008 elections, but her widower, Asif Ali Zardari, faced numerous challenges during his presidency. Bhutto's assassination also had an impact on the global community, particularly in terms of the fight against terrorism. She had been a strong advocate for democracy and human rights, and had been critical of extremist groups. Her assassination highlighted the challenges facing Pakistan in its efforts to combat terrorism and extremism, and underscored the importance of international support for these efforts. Patrice Lumumba. Patrice Lumumba was a Congolese politician and independence leader who served as the first democratically elected Prime Minister of the Democratic Republic of Congo. He was born in Onalua in 1925, in what was then the Belgian Congo. Lumumba played a key role in the Congolese struggle for independence from Belgium, which was finally achieved in 1960. Lumumba's time in office was marked by political instability and conflict, both within the Congo and with foreign powers. He faced opposition from powerful political and military groups within his own government, as well as interference from foreign countries, especially Belgium and the United States. In September 1960, just months after he became Prime Minister, Lumumba was deposed in a military coup led by Colonel Joseph Mobutu, who was backed by Western powers. Lumumba was imprisoned, tortured, and ultimately assassinated in January 1961. It is widely believed that the CIA and Belgian intelligence played a role in his assassination, as they saw him as a threat to their interests in the Congo. Lumumba's assassination was a significant event in African history, and has had a lasting impact on the politics of the Congo and the wider region. It highlighted the role of foreign powers in African politics and the challenges faced by newly independent nations after establishing stable and democratic governments. Lumumba is remembered as a hero and martyr in the Congo, and is celebrated for his role in the country's independence struggle. He is also remembered for his commitment to African unity and his rejection of foreign interference in African affairs. Lumumba's legacy has inspired generations of African leaders and activists who continue to work towards the realization of his vision of a free and united Africa. Olof Palme. Olof Palme was a Swedish politician who served as the Prime Minister of Sweden from 1969 to 1976, and again from 1982 until his assassination in 1986. He was known for his progressive policies and his outspoken criticism of the US, also apartheid in South Africa, and the Soviet Union's invasion of Afghanistan. On the evening of February 28, 1986, Palme was walking home from a cinema in Stockholm with his wife when he was shot and killed by an unknown assailant. The assassination was a shock to the Swedish people and sent shockwaves through the international community. The investigation into Palme's assassination was one of the largest in Swedish history, but the case remains unsolved. There have been numerous theories and speculations about the identity of his killer or killers, but no conclusive evidence has been found. The assassination of Olof Palme had a significant impact on Swedish politics and society. Palme was a popular and charismatic leader who had inspired many with his vision for a more equal and just society. His death left a hole in Swedish politics, and his legacy as a champion for social justice and human rights continues to be celebrated in Sweden. The assassination also had implications for Swedish foreign policy, as Palme's successor, Ingvar Carlsson, continued many of his policies, including his opposition to apartheid in South Africa and his advocacy for disarmament and peace. The assassination also led to a strengthening of security measures in Sweden, as the country sought to prevent future acts of violence. Yitzhak Rabin. Yitzhak Rabin was an Israeli politician and military leader who served as the Prime Minister of Israel twice, from 1974 to 1977, and again from 1992 until his assassination in 1995. He played a key role in the founding of the State of Israel and was a central figure in the country's politics and military for much of his life. Rabin was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1994 for his efforts to bring peace to the Middle East. He signed the Oslo Accords, a peace agreement between Israel and the Palestinian Liberation Organization, or PLO, in 1993, which was seen as a major step towards resolving the long-standing conflict between Israel and Palestine. On November 4, 1995, Rabin was assassinated by a Jewish extremist named Yigal Amir, who opposed Rabin's efforts to make peace with the Palestinians. The assassination shocked the Israeli people and the international community, and it had a profound impact on the peace process in the Middle East. The assassination led to a period of upheaval in Israel. It highlighted the deep divisions within Israeli society over the peace process, and the role of extremism in Israeli politics. It also had implications for the peace process itself, as the political instability that followed Rabin's death made it difficult to continue the negotiations he had started. Despite the setback caused by his assassination, the Oslo Accords remain a significant milestone in the quest for peace in the Middle East. They represent a recognition by both Israelis and Palestinians of the need for a negotiated settlement to the conflict, and they have served as a framework for subsequent negotiations. So here is today's final thought. We've looked at 5 of the most famous political assassinations in modern history. Each of these assassinations had major political significance and repercussions for the countries they occurred in, and in some cases the larger region and even the entire world. From the assassination of JFK, which had a profound impact on American politics and the way we view the world, to the assassination of Patrice Lumumba, which brought about years of instability and conflict in the Congo, these events remind us of the fragility of our political systems and the importance of promoting peace and tolerance. As someone from the UK, it's worth noting that my country has also had an assassinated leader. In 1812, Prime Minister Spencer Perceval was assassinated by a lone gunman in the lobby of the House of Commons, the only British Prime Minister ever to have been assassinated. More recently, in 1979, Conservative MP Eri Neve was killed by a car bomb planted by the Irish Republican Army outside the Palace of Westminster. And in the last few years, there have been a number of attacks against politicians in the UK. These assassinations serve as a reminder of the importance of protecting our political leaders and our democratic institutions, as well as the need to confront violence and extremism wherever they may be. But what do you think? What famous political assassinations did I miss? And has your country ever had a leader assassinated? Let me know by leaving a comment on Spotify, a comment on the Thinking in English transcript. Right? Every episode has a transcript. You can click the link in the description and leave a comment on the transcript, or send me a message on Instagram. Make sure you're following Thinking in English on Instagram and on YouTube. Make sure you leave a rating, hopefully 5 stars, wherever you are listening right now. Join my Patreon to support the podcast, also to join my conversation clubs and practice English with me every week. And you can do that by joining Patreon. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time.